Daily News Evening Bulletin Update. Thank you so much for continuously watching us and supporting us. I am Simran Bajaj and I'll be giving you updates from Assam. We've been joined by our state correspondents. We have Wangamla Salikapai from Manipur, Princess Giri Rashi from Meghalaya, Chandan Pandey from Tripura, and Merolino Ambrosia from Nagaland. So first, I would like to go to Chandan from Tripura. We have updates from Tripura on new COVID cases. So Chandan, can you brief us about that?
Thank you, Simran. Yes, today 5 more cases were reported in the state, and all of them had returned from Chennai as far as we have been told by the PRO. So the total number of positive cases as of now stands at 321, and it is likely that by the end of tonight we'll get at least two digits maybe, because this is what we have been told, because more than 1,000 samples are being tested, and every day this has been a trend now. Every day we are getting at least 10 to 12 positive cases. So speaking about the numbers and the statistics that we have right now, I have in my hand is so far 321 cases have been reported, out of which 173 persons were discharged. So this is also good news coming in. So this gives us that the number of patients recovering is also very high in compared to the other northeastern states. So talking about the number of people have been put under home quarantine, it's 12,573, while 441 people are in facility quarantine. So far a total number of 29,031 samples have been collected, out of which 27,475 samples were tested. And the Chief Minister earlier this morning in a press conference, he announced that the government has procured one more testing machine for COVID-19 samples. So with that, we'll have 3 testing machines and the number will increase. Right now, Tripura is testing on an average around 1,000 samples every day. So getting one more machine, that will boost the number of samples being testing in our state. The Chief Minister also said that people coming in from the other parts of the country are being tested in 5:1 ratio. So once we have another machine set in the virology lab, the government will start testing 100% people coming in from the other parts of the country. So this gives us a view that the state government is not lacking behind in any way to test the people coming in, and also in maintaining the community transmission. The Chief Minister has said that so far not a single case were reported in among the community, and the government is doing everything possible. The people in the rural area are much aware about it, and CM himself, he's visiting all the blocks. 2 days back, he visited Sipajla district. Today, he's visiting in Khwai and Gomati to take stock on the preparedness taken by the district administration. Also, one report coming in today that the Chief Minister has confirmed that BSF battalion, where the cases were reported, around 160 cases were reported from a single unit of BSF, that is 138, and another battalion which is just adjacent to the battalion is 86 battalion. 163 cases were reported from the battalion, out of which 161 patients have already recovered, which is good. Since they all are Jawan, they all were asymptomatic. When we got first case from there, following which the contract tracing was started, which led to 160 cases. So as I just mentioned, 161 patients have already recovered, but a team from NCDC Shillong had also visited our state. They found that the transmission in the battalion led by not maintaining the social distancing and quarantine, since more than 200 BSF Jawans had returned from other parts of the country prior to the lockdown, which led to the spread of this virus, and the BSF battalion commandant was also removed and transferred from the battalion. Simran.
Thank you for that update. We were actually really curious about how exactly this huge spike happened in the BSF battalion in Tripura, and that report really does help that a lot of people had returned back to their respective battalions in Tripura. So this really does give us insight on which was the source of the infection among the BSF battalion in Tripura. Now, moving on, I will be giving you updates from Assam. So in one of what can be said as one of the largest number of people discharged on a single day in Assam, 92 patients were discharged. 92 COVID-19 patients were discharged today. They tested negative for the virus twice. So Assam currently has 1,390 reported cases, of which 277 people have been cured. 1,106 people are still fighting with the virus. 4 have passed on, and 3 people have migrated to other states. Meanwhile, the state government, lockdown 5.0 has been announced, that is only for the containment zones effective till June 30. Now, in Assam, the state government has issued guidelines according to which religious places and places of worship can resume from June 8th. However, they cannot have more than 20 people inside the praying area per hour. And if the religious places or any kind of religious place is smaller in size, then the authorities over there will have to take the call on the number of people that they will allow. Meanwhile, hotels, restaurants, and other hospitality services will also resume from June 8th with 50% capacity at one time. And shopping malls will also open from June 8th. There's no clarification on the capacity that is allowed. Also, for looking after the health and fitness, given that we were in lockdown for almost 2 months, open spaces and public parks for yoga, morning walk, and jogging without seating arrangement will be resumed from June 15th. And that's all that we have from Assam today. So let's head on to Manipur. And Sally, can we get updates about COVID-19 from the state?
Yes, thank you so much, Simran. Let me start with the number of passengers that we have screened till date. So the latest report which we received yesterday, we haven't received today's data, but according to yesterday's latest update, 2,25,294 passengers. Those who have come by trains, those who have come by roads, and as well as the flight passengers. So up till now, 2,25,294 people have screened. Out of this, we have got 5,560 at the institutional quarantine and at the community quarantine, because we have a lot of community quarantine that has been set up in various districts and the villages. So we've got around 12,492 people who have returned back from the metro cities. So this is the latest report for when it comes to those people in the quarantine center. Now,
so sorry to cut you, Sally. So you said you're speaking about reverse migration in the state. Now, we have Sally, who's done an exclusive report on reverse migration and on people who've returned to the state. So, Sally, can you update us, like, what is the future ahead for them? Because what we've seen that apart from the spread of the virus due to which the people came back, there's also reports of there's also like several reports of racism that people from Northeast had to face outside, which is one of the reasons why several of them came back. And we have an exclusive story on that done by Sally. So Sally, can you brief us a bit about that and what the future ahead for them is like?
Okay, let me start with the evacuation process. Up till now, the trains, the state, started the evacuation from May 13. So till now, around 21 trains, the special train have arrived carrying these stranded passengers. So those people who have returned back by flight, by trains, or even by the road. So we've got around 28,000 who have returned back from the metro cities. Now, out of these 28,000, definitely 50% would be from the migrant workers. Of course, we have a lot of students who are studying outside, but most affected for those, stranded passengers are those who are working in various sectors. Mostly, those people who are working in metro cities are those they are working in hospitality industry or in the retail industry, or even those in medical, those nurses. We have a lot of, working in hospitals, private hospitals. Now, those people who have returned back, definitely they did not return back for good, but they were compelled to return back since they lost the job. And then if they lost the job, they don't have money to pay the rent. So there is a forced eviction from the landlords, as well as those people who are working in the hospitality industry. If they are staying in accommodation, in their company accommodation, those employers were forced them to leave the accommodation. So these are the migrant workers. Those it could both the skilled and the semi-skilled workers. So these have returned back now. Of the initials, why they actually migrated to metro cities was there was a lack of employment opportunities in the state. That was the main reason they went out to the metro cities. That's one thing. Now there is a reverse migration, which means the state is having a huge problem when it comes to the employment. These people have come back, these migrant workers have returned back, with the hope that there would be some, they can at least have a quality life, the kind of distress or the kind of suffering, the kind of trouble they went through in the metro cities during this lockdown. They're hoping that at least they can, feel safe, and they're expecting that maybe there is something that they can do in the state. But now we are worried that, why they went out to the other state was because of the employment. Now, the state have huge problem whether the state would be able to provide them the kind of work or the kind of the job they were doing in the metro cities, because we do not have much industries. We don't have such corporate sectors, that we can actually produce or we can generate this employment. So that is a huge problem that we have right now. Apart from losing the job, apart from going through such trouble in the cities, those migrant workers or those returnees who have returned back in the state had to go another problem when they reached in the state. When I interviewed a couple of the returnees, it's so sad that yes, there should be a social distancing that we need to maintain, pertaining this COVID-19 issue. But that doesn't mean that we need to have a misconceptions towards those migrants, because of course they are coming back from, most of the returnees are coming back from those cities who are badly, affected by COVID-19. So yes, definitely we need to be careful, we need to be cautious, but that doesn't mean that we have to, give us such misconception that they are not welcome in the state back. So this is one thing they have, not only the racial discrimination is one thing they face in the metro cities. Now in the home state, they feel the kind of, alienations, the kind of isolations, or the kind of mistreatment from their own community. This is one huge concern, and this can cause them, a lot of problem when it comes to depression. I would say the one thing we can say is depression. It can make them into a depression because they have already come back losing the job. They are not very sure when the lockdown will be lifted, when this coronavirus pandemic will be ended. Now, this is another problem. When they come back, they're not welcomed properly. It's not that all of them were not welcomed properly. Definitely, most of them were, they feel at home. But at the same time, a lot of people went through this problem. So this is one
The
thing.
stigmatization around
Stigmatization.
them returning is
Yes,
sticking with them.
definitely. Yeah, social alienation, that we can also say that. So yes, this is one such problem, and with this platform, I also wanted to, appeal to the fellow community, fellow citizens of our state that let's not make them, go through another problem when they have already gone through. They have gone through enough the problem in the metro cities. So we need to welcome them, warm welcome them so that they feel safe. They feel safe. So this is one thing. But yes, now when it comes to the employment sectors or employment opportunity, I spoke with one of the well-known economists from our state, Dr. Jingland Maisnam. He's the economist from the Manipur University. So what he suggested was, yes, definitely we have employment problem here, but the state can, constitute a committee, a kind of a committee involved by the state planning department so that they can start doing assessment on the losses of those losses in the various sectors of agriculture, horticulture, or those MSMEs. So those are the three sectors. In fact, those are the three sectors the state have actually zeroed down in order to, revive the twinkling state economy at the moment. And the state chief minister have recently extended financial assistance to at least 41 MSEM firms, so that they can start running their businesses, they can start doing the industries. So this can also, create, it's not going to create a lot of job at the same time, but this can also create, a kind of a revenue generation so that small employment opportunity can start giving out to those migrant returners. So these are one thing that I wanted to point out.
Thank you so much for that update, Sally. And as we've seen that India's unemployment rate has gone really high in the past 2 months, according to data released by CMIE. In the month of March, India had an average unemployment rate of 8.75%, which spiked almost three times, 23.52% in April, and in May it went down by 0.04 to 23.48%. So definitely coronavirus has cost us a huge number of jobs. The country, a lot of youth and senior people have lost their jobs. And like Sally pointed out, for those who are coming back to their home states from metro cities, they've already suffered enough. They've lost their jobs, their livelihoods. They've been forced to evict from their houses because of inability to pay rents. And then for the people in Northeast, they face discrimination. And upon coming back home, it so happens that they're not welcomed back home because they are they're believed to be the carrier of the infection. But this one thing that has been highlighted by our leaders at the state levels and at the center level is to make sure that there's no stigmatization around this virus. So that's all from Manipur. Thank you so much for that, Sally. Now I would like to head to Arunachal Pradesh. So our correspondent has joined us, Irani Sonowal Lepcha. So there has been one of the largest hike in the number of COVID cases in the state. Could you brief us about that?
Yeah, hi Simran. So exactly. So today's big news is Arunachal Pradesh has reported the highest number of cases in a single day. So 15 cases were reported today in the evening hours. I mean, at around 5 p.m. And 15 is a quite large number for Arunachal because previously last week we have seen that only 3 cases were reported in a week. So as of now, Arunachal has 19 active cases and 1 recovered, which was last month. And if we'll talk about the stats, the total samples collected are 8,282, out of which 7,015 were negative, and the results awaited are 1,262. So we are just waiting for a press release from the health department because we just wanted to know, I mean, the journalists, the group of journalists here in Arunachal, we wanted to know the exact information, as in they have returned from which places in the country, because as we already know that approximately 6,000 people have entered Arunachal in a span of 1 month from different parts of the country. And interestingly, there was a press conference in the morning hours today. It was addressed by the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh, Mr. Pema Khandu, and he was quite positive about the team he has prepared to fight against the COVID-19. But unfortunately, in the evening hours, we got a news about the increase in the number of active cases in the state. So during the press conference, Mr. Pema Khandu also was very excited to announced that within 2 or 3 months, he'll start the hospitality sector, or we can say the tourism sector inside the state. As all of us know that Arunachal, if we talk about Northeast, Arunachal is the biggest in terms of landmass. And being the biggest state, we have different geographical areas or like topography and also some. So the Chief Minister wanted, we don't have to bring tourists from outside the state. Why not we go and visit to different places and try to learn and how the tribes in different other districts, how they live, how they interact, how's the culture, how's the places and all. So that's the thing which was quite interesting throughout the press conference. Otherwise, his press conference was all about the COVID-19 fight. That's it. Simran.
Thank you so much for that update, Irani. And now I would like to head on to Meadow from Nagaland. So, Meadow, after a week of reporting, after the first case was reported from Nagaland, now there's no new cases have been reported in Nagaland in the past 24 hours. So, can you tell us more about the existing cases?
Yes, Simran. So, after the first 3 cases were reported on May 25, like exactly after a week now, there has been no positive case for the past 24 hours, and this was informed by the health minister this morning through Twitter. It said that there's no active cases, no new cases as of today, as in the past 24 hours, but the state tally remains at 43. There are 43 active cases in the state, of which 27, as per the Health and Family Welfare Department, 27 are asymptomatic and 16 are symptomatic. Also, we have received updates on the statistics today, and a total of 2,782 have been tested for COVID-19, and 43, like I've mentioned, is already tested positive. The result for 1,083 is awaited, and the others are tested negative. Also, the TrueNut machine testings are happening across the state, and 88 samples have been tested. All of this has tested negative, and about 4,022 people are under the facility quarantine. Also, among these 43 who tested positive, all are returnees from Chennai who reached the state on May 22 through the special Shramik train. That was, in fact, the first Shramik special train that have reached the state. And of this, 25 are from Dimapur, 13 from Kohima, and 5 from Tuensang. Also, Simran, earlier you were mentioning about lockdown 5.0, and then while a few other states have been giving new orders and fresh orders for relaxations, Nagaland government has notified that the lockdown orders that was in existence in the state will continue till further orders, which we will be notified in days to come, I'm sure. But the existing orders will continue here in the state, Simran.
So the hospitality sectors and restaurants, are they not reopening anytime soon? Is there no notification or order about that, Meadow?
Yes, Simran. As per the existing order, only takeaways from restaurants and eateries are being allowed. So far, these will also continue to remain closed, but will facilitate home deliveries in this matter.
Okay, thank you so much for that update. Now, I would like to stick to Meadow for this exclusive report that we have done. So Meadow has done an exclusive report on drug menace along Assam and Nagaland border in Pokha district, and how, despite borders being sealed due to coronavirus, the menace continues, and drug is being transferred from across the states. And Meadow, can you update us about that story, about that exclusive story that we've done?
Yes, sure, Simran. Thank you. So we all know drug use is not a new issue, not only here in the state of Nagaland, but with COVID-19, the outbreak of COVID-19, all borders were sealed, and this has led to the inaccessibility of drugs to the drug users. And the particular area that I've reported at Bhandari subdivision, this is the stretch along the Nagaland-Assam border under Wokha district, and this entire stretch comes under Wokha district and is under the Bhandari subdivision. So this is one area where villages of Assam and villages of Nagaland are living together. In a way, I've mentioned in the story at detailed one, where the Merapani village is part of Nagaland and the Merapani town is part of Assam. So that is such a, the geographical identification, and there is no proper demarcation, as these, villages from this border stretch, they fall under the disputed area belt. And so it has become a threat for the people, especially during these times, because COVID-19 positive cases were reported in the neighboring states, in the neighboring state of Assam. And this is in close, connectivity with the villages here in Nagaland. And this has caused, a concern along that border. And like I've mentioned, it is not a new issue. But since the outbreak of COVID-19 has caused a threat that they could be possible carriers of COVID-19 after they, illegally cross the borders and come back, the district administration or the state government, for that matter, has also took notice of this as a menace there in the along the border. And we have filed a video documentary also a written story for our viewers to go through it. But very briefly putting up, through the findings, we have found that there is a need for the NGOs, the civil societies, also the village councils to come together and work for, to listen to the plight of these people, because drug use is like any other disease and it needs treatment. Otherwise, without treatment, experts say, there is possibility of relapsing again. Also, another point is that most of the programs that are, targeted for the drug users are mainly targeted for the injecting drug users. And the state of Nagaland has projected about 19,000 drug users, out of which 1,300 are from Waka. Also, like I was saying, these programs are comes under the Health and Family Welfare Department, where it is targeted towards the injecting drug users. So it has also highlighted that not just the injecting drug users, but the drug users as a whole, there is a need for the state government to look into this matter also for the general drug users, like I was mentioning. And to a certain extent, this lockdown has seemed to be a blessing in disguise. Although it has, it has pointed that drug use is a threat along the border. Why? Because it becoming a concern itself has got the attention of the state government, and the state government has assured that it is looking into this matter. And hopefully, besides battling COVID-19 in better days to come, the state government will also, emphasize on this sensitive and vulnerable population here in the state, Simran.
Thank you so much for that update. I'd like to inform our viewers that we have both the exclusive stories live on our website. You can log on to www.eastmojo.com and read both the stories about Sally's story on reverse migration and Meadow's story on the drug menace along the Assam-Nagaland border. And so thank you so much for that update. Now we'd like to go to Meghalaya, to our correspondent Princess. So, Princess, can you give us updates on COVID-19 from the state?
Good evening, Simran. Yes, so I'll start off with the statistics, the numbers that we have right now, how many have been tested. So, the samples that have been tested so far in Meghalaya is a total of 8,504, and those who have been tested negative is a total of 8,094. And apart from these, the state is awaiting for 383 results of 383 samples. And remember that Meghalaya last reported 6 active cases, 6 new cases on Friday, which brought the total tally of COVID cases in the state to 27. Which means that the total active cases right now that Meghalaya has is a number of 14. Now, apart from these, just earlier, we had reported a story on EastMojo.com about the government making several relaxations in the state. Now, I'll just give you a list of, the several relaxations that have been made in the state of Meghalaya. Firstly is that the government today, in a review meeting that was held today, they've decided that the movement of people within the district is now allowed. They can move freely within the state of Meghalaya. But clearly remember this, that interstate movement is still prohibited, which is still restricted. And they've also lifted restrictions on, till now, they've still restricted the flying of public and private vehicles is only allowed at a 50% percentage. And they've ensured that even though it's a 50% number, these private and public transportation, they can move within Meghalaya freely, and they will not need car passes, though the curfew is still promulgated in the state of Meghalaya, that is from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. The curfew will still be in place, so those who move around those hours, they will still need a curfew pass. But for people flying around this, this 50% that has been given, the district administration have been given the responsibility to work out a modality. So they definitely they're going to work out a modality where odd and even numbers are going to work out in the state, because earlier also that was how they had done it, where odd and even numbers were working. So right now it still remains the same, that 50% will be the strength of vehicles of public and private transportation applying in Meghalaya. And apart from these, now, they are trying to And there are some students who have just returned and are also under quarantine. Now, they just received information from their colleges that they have to come back to the institutions to give the exams. Now, what the state has decided is that they have allowed these students to go back to these states, to their institutions to give the exams. So this is what the state government has decided today, Simran.
Thank you for that update. But I would like some more information on the students where they are being allowed to go back to their institutions to give exams. So these are all the students who've returned via Shramik special trains and after flights opened up.
Absolutely, Simran. So these are stranded students who have returned to the state. And when we asked the government, the deputy chief minister, Preeton Tinsong, what's the exact figure? What's the number of students who are planning to go back and give the exam? So he was not very sure with the figure. He said, though it may be somewhere 10 to 15, and he was very precise that very clear that these issues were raised by the health minister. That news have been. It's being informed to him that there are some students who are concerned about the institutions informing them to come back and give the exams. And so right now it's not going to happen right away, but it's going to take like a few more days where they will have to go back. But then the government has informed that if any such cases of students who need to go back and give the examinations, they will be allowed to move.
Okay, we'll be waiting for a proper detailed story on how the quarantine for them will work out once they move back, because I'm sure they haven't completed their 14 days quarantine period as of now. So we'll wait for that, Princess. Thank you for the update. Also, one more thing. There's a report of a cop who was stranded in a Delhi hospital from Meghalaya and who's not being attended at the hospital properly. So can you brief us about that? What is all that about?
Well, yes, Simran. This is a Meghalaya constable who is, posted in New Delhi. Now, what has come across is that, the family is alleging this came about on Saturday. This news was brought to light on Saturday. Family is alleging that the police, the constable who is admitted, who had reported that he was not well, he was suffering from cough and cold, then he was later admitted. When he was tested, he was admitted to LNJP hospital in New Delhi. So he's informing that, that he's not being attended to, and even people from, the Meghalaya police, the people from his own battalion are not there to attend to him or to come visit him. So that is what the family is alleging. But then yesterday during the evening, G.K. Yangrai, who is the Assistant General Police Inspector, he had informed, that this is not the case. These are just allegations that is being made by the family. However, the police from the end, it's just that nobody is able to visit him. It's because these are the protocols that once the person is under quarantine, they are not allowed to visit. So he's been kept under isolation. Now, right now, what they've also informed is that because the family is requesting that they want that this constable, this police should come back to the state, take care of him here in Meghalaya. So this can only be done after tests are being carried out. Once the tests come through. Now, why I'm not mentioning that this person has tested positive for COVID-19 or not, because when we had asked the officials in charge, they haven't come out and informed the media whether this constable has tested positive. But by the information that they're giving, that the person is under quarantine and isolated at LNJP hospital, it clearly seems that the constable is has tested positive. But also remember this, that the police haven't given official confirmation that the person has tested positive for COVID-19. So overall the situation here, what the family clearly wants is that this a constable should be brought back to the state so that the family can take care of him and can admit him at a hospital where they can look after him. But then right now they're just waiting. When these reports come through, if he's fine, he can come and travel back to Meghalaya.
Thank you for that update, Princess. Thank you so much. And now we'd like to head back to Nagaland, to Meadow. There's a report of a person who fled from quarantine center in Kohima. So Meadow, could you tell us more about that?
Yes, Imran. So yesterday, a 21-year-old who is returning from Uttar Pradesh has fled the quarantine center here in one of the quarantine centers in Kohima. And interestingly, the person was bound for Manipur but has landed in Kohima. So when asked about how the person who is bound for Manipur reached here in Kohima, the state government to the nodal officer has said that investigations are on, and the context provided by the person who fled is also not available. So they have assured that the police is on the job, but since yesterday 1:30 p.m. the person has fled the quarantine center. Also, this is not the first time that this person has fled the quarantine center. It is the second time. The first time it was on May 29, as per sources, when the person first fled and was caught by the local youths in some of the neighboring villages, and they have reported to the police and have brought him back to the quarantine center here. But the second incident also, this also raised concerns of the security being provided in the facility quarantines in the state. Talking about that, there were recent incidents where some Chennai returnees were released from the quarantine center in Kohima and were sent back to Chennai, which of course the story is already up in our website. But in our follow-up to that, in a new development today, the state government, they've also set up a 3-member judicial inquiry committee to look into this matter, where this committee will be inquiring under what standard operating procedures or SOPs these persons were released from Kohima Center and sent back, and if the SOPs that were set by the state government was being followed. Also, the inquiry committee, they've set a 15-day deadline where the committee will be producing their report within this 15 days. And in another interesting development, we have an empowered group here in the state who oversees activities of COVID-19 and work into framing the standard operating procedures as such. But yesterday, an order was passed by the government, where this empowered group was made to merge with the COVID-19 war room. And so if we are to talk about the COVID-19 war room, this war room is headed by the Chief Minister of Nagaland and is monitored by the Chief Secretary. So that is another major development here in the state, Simran.
Thank you so much for that update, Meadow. And we'd like to go to Chandan from Tripura. There's some updates about the state examination, TBSE pending examination papers. So, Chandan, can you brief us about that?
Yes, thank you, Simran. Yeah, as you just mentioned, the pending papers of TBSE Tripura Board of Secondary Educations were postponed due to the lockdown, and the government had announced that the exams will be held between June 5 to 11. But since the MHRD has said that schools and education institutions cannot be open prior to July at least, and that too after consultation with the stakeholders and the guardians. So the government has once again decided to reschedule the exams, although we don't know when the exams will be rescheduled again, but the exams for class 10 and 12 boards have once again been postponed. And this includes around 8,749 students of class 12 and students of class 10, which is around 309. These 309 students are those students who were supposed to give their exams for the old syllabus. Exams for the new syllabus students in class 10 has already been completed, and the evaluation is also completed. But since the exams for the old syllabus is not completed yet, so the government has not released the results for those students who have completed their exams. So this is something coming up about TBSE board exam. Simran.
Thank you for that update, Chandan. Thank you so much. And lastly, we'd like to go to Sally from Manipur. So there's some update on the lockdown extension from the state. So Sally, can you brief us about it?
Yeah, before going to lockdown extension, I would like to mention about the COVID's latest update from our state. So I have updated up to 10 COVID cases, which was detected earlier today. But we just got an information that 2 more cases has been detected, which means altogether we've got 12 cases. So this would be the highest cases detected in a single day since the time it got the first case detected in our state. So we don't have much information about this latest 2 cases which has been detected, but definitely Chief Minister and Biren Singh had mentioned yesterday that all those fresh cases which has been detected in our state is all those coming from various metro cities. So yes, since now we have, in total, we've got 81 confirmed COVID positive cases. Out of that, 11 patients has already been discharged. Four women was discharged from the hospitals on Saturday. So 11 patients altogether has been discharged, which means we have got 72. We have got 72 active cases. 83 are the confirmed total cases in our state till date, and 72 are the active cases. Now, when it comes to the lockdown extension, yes, some of the states have already announced that the lockdown will be lifted and there is, a relaxation. But as our chief minister had mentioned yesterday, that since there is a rapid rise of cases in our state, the lockdown will continue till June 30. June 30 would be the continuation. And moreover, there is a total shutdown, a total curfew in Imphal, that's a state capital, as well as all the district headquarters. So the curfew would be started from 2 p.m. onwards till 5 a.m. in the district headquarters as well as Imphal. And in other areas, like in different towns and villages, there will also be a curfew started from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. That has been decided and it has been effective from today onwards. So yes, we have got the latest report of this COVID update, and up till now, we have 10,634 samples have been tested. Out of this, 83 are positive. These are the latest report from our COVID development.
Thank you so much for that update, Sally. Now, when we're talking about curfew, like the center's order, Assam government has also informed that from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. the state will implement curfew. However, in containment zones, there'll be no activities whatsoever apart from the basic activities which are allowed by the state. And that's all that we have for today. I would like to thank our viewers for taking time and watching us on a daily basis. We bring you all the latest news and developments from East and Northeast of India. If you think we should cover something or some topic needs our attention, please write to us at editor@eastmojo.com. You can also message it to us on our Facebook page. Stay connected with us through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. That's all. This is Simran Bajaj signing off for today.